Another loss for North Melbourne on the weekend, and a win to West Coast sees the Roos firmly placed to take pick 1 at the national draft. Now, they'll have to double their wins tally already just to even have a chance of potentially going 1 spot higher over the Eagles and holding pick 2. But it seems very, very likely that the Roos will hold either one of the top 2 picks. And how will it look out for them? Well, in the case of this year's draft class, it could be a bit of a dilemma for the Roos. Now, they've banked heavily on midfielders in the last few drafts: Jason Horne-Francis, Will Phillips, Tom Powell, adding Curtis Taylor, Taron Thomas on top of that. So they've kind of gone away from key position players, which they are likely to rely on at this year's draft. Now, they brought in Callum Coleman-Jones at the end of last season. They've got Nick Larkey, but it seems like with CCJ still in the VFL that they might look for a key position forward, or they could certainly look at the other end, have Ben Mackay, Aidan Corr, and pair them someone to succeed Josh Walker in a few years. But the big problem for North Melbourne is the top 5 or 6 picks could easily be seen, and the best players could easily be seen as midfielders. Now, we know Will Ashcroft likely to land at Brisbane and likely to go as the 1 or 2 first picks in the draft. So you can rule him out. But George Wardlaw, another one that will contend with Ashcroft for the top spot. Elijah Sardis, Elijah Hewitt from WA, Jai Clark from Geelong. All these players could certainly go in the top 5 and are all currently listed as on ballers. Now, there are hybrid players, Harry Sheasel being one of them, Matthias Philippou, able to play midfield, able to play forward, but aren't really a key position player. And it could leave the Roos kind of pondering what to do with pick 1. Now, if they want a key position tall, they could easily just pick up a player who, won't be the best in his draft class. Still plenty of action to be seen in the NAB League and across the state championships, Sample and Waffle as well. But what can we expect the Roos to do with their pick 1? Could they look to split it? That way they can still get one of the best key position players in the draft, and potentially even pick up 2 players in splitting pick 1. And then on top of that, who do they look to target? Now, West Adelaide duo Tom Scully and Harrison Lemmy have been absolutely fantastic this year for the Bloods. And then down at the other end, a key position player, Jed Buslinger from WA, seen as probably the best key backman in this year's draft crop. So none of them will really be seen as one of the top 2-3 picks. They could slide certainly at some point this year, but do the Roos consider trading pick 1 and splitting that pick into multiple top 10 picks potentially?